Alright folks, I'm out here, got another project to do. I learned a long time ago when I was in high school. I worked on a dairy farm pretty much all the years that I was in high school. 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, and 12th grade. And one thing I learned about farming is there's always something to do. Always something that needs to be done. It doesn't matter what season, there's stuff to do. So as I mentioned at the end of my last video, the ducks and the chickens are getting too big to be in the house. I did not realize how fast ducks grow. I'll show them later. I mean, they're already this tall. They're only like 3.5 weeks. They're another 3 weeks and they will probably be as big as me. But so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this load that's here on this trailer and I'm going to build a chicken and duck tractor. I'm going to build a little coop thing for them to go in. One end of it fenced in on the other side of it. That way I can get them out of the house, and it'll be something temporary for them until I get the chicken lot built to be over on the farm. Then I was thinking about probably using this tractor that I make today for whenever I start raising quail to put them in. So that's what I'm going to start doing, and I'll take you along for the ride. Alright, so what my plan is I've got some 16-foot 2x4s and some 12-foot or 10-foot 2x4s, and my plan is to build basically a cube. Well, not a cube, it'll be a rectangle, 16 foot long, 5 foot wide, and 5 foot tall. And I've got the wire that I've got is 5 foot wire that I'm gonna put around it, and on one end I'm gonna close in probably 3 foot by 5 foot, something like that, so that they would have like a house to go in to roost, and if it was raining, a place that they could get out of the rain. So let me get started cutting these things up, and I'll kind of show you along as I go. Okay, so now I've got my 5 foot boards cut right here. I cut these off at 16 foot because they always come a little bit longer. I'm gonna make sure that my 5 foot board is on the end so that it stays 5 foot wide. Now this is actually going to be 16 foot and 3 inches because of this 1.5 inches on this end and the 1.5 inches, the same thing on the other end. And it don't really matter to me if it's a little bit longer. I just don't want it wider or taller because my wire is only 5 foot tall. So I'm gonna screw these in. Twist it some. Do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so I've got the corners, and then I've got two that I came in 34 inches. So here's the 4 corners. I came in 32 inches right here and set this one right here above it, or ahead of it. And this part back here, where I've got these I'm gonna close it in. That's really gonna be where the roost is, and the enclosed part, the chicken house part. So the rest of this will be fenced in. I can drag that around wherever I need to. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in the middle of both sides, and I'm gonna put a couple more 2x4s up on both sides, and then I'll put my top across and the one in the middle, and that end I'll have a door, and on the back side of that I'll have a door, so I can get inside there or inside here. And so that's what I'm gonna do next. Now I'm gonna put my top board across there, which is 16 foot long, and I can't hold that thing in the middle and screw it on each end, so I'm gonna have to make me a little cheater to help me on one end. Now my board is 3.5 inches wide, so we'll come down at least 3.5 inches, maybe a little bit more. On these other ones in the middle, I just got to get my measurements off the ends and put them in the same place that they are at the bottom. And then once I get that done, then I'll be ready to square this thing up and put some braces on it. All right, I'm gonna square this thing on this side anyway. I've got the top rafters in. I got the ends on the end here. And back here I got my board across where I can put my flooring down for the inside of there. And all that up. So now I need to see if this end is square. So basically what I need to do is I need to measure from that corner down to the bottom corner on the other side, and it should be the same as from that corner up there to the bottom corner on this side. Let's see what we got. Bottom corner. Same thing. Pretty good. I never thought it would be square. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure up 24 inches or 26 inches to the top of my 2x4 and put another one here on the other side. What I have is chicken wire that's 24 inches. I'm going to nail it down here and there, all the way around the bottom. And then my other wire is 5 foot, so it'll go from the bottom to the top. And I'm going to go over top of that chicken wire. The chicken wire is basically for the chickens to keep them from getting out. The other wire over the chicken wire is for predators, because if I just had chicken wire down here, a dog or a fox or whatever, coyote, coon, it could just chew right through chicken wire. It's not even only going to slow them down. But I'll put that, it's 3 or 2x4 inch regular fence wire over top of all of it. That way the chickens can't get out from the inside, predators can't get in from the outside, other than just the nose shoulders, which hopefully my chickens are big enough that the snakes can't kill them now. Just got to cross that path, because a snake can crawl up it anyway and get up and go over. So let me get those 2x4s on. And also I got these braces. So since it's square, I'm going to put these around also. I decided to raise it up. I put a 2x8 on top of that 2x4 and then put my decking boards on it, so it's a foot off the ground. And that'll be the bottom of actually the chicken house part, or inside part. So inside here I'll put some OSB probably on the outside for now, and then later when I mill up some wood I'll probably put some boards on it, do like a board and batten kind of style on it, and I'll get a piece of metal to go on the top. So it's getting closer. All right, it's the next day. I pretty much got the framing done. I've still got to get my wood on the end down here. I've got a hole for a window, but I don't know. I may have to redo that. I was thinking about that, but putting my roost in there with that window in the way, it might not work. So now what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to get the fence on, the wire on, basically from here all the way to the end on both sides and the top, and that way when I can put the board on the rest of it and keep them in there. All right, I'm gonna start down at this end. I'm just gonna nail the top till I get it rolled down. I'm gonna put it about halfway. I've got this staple gun that I'm going to staple it with. And then I'm gonna roll it out down there, then I'll come back and kind of stretch it. Now I want to get this bottom stretched down. And then go up the side. Use a pair of 10 shears, 10 snips to cut it. All right, I got the top nailed across. Let's see if I can pull the bottom, tighten it some. Now tightening this in. Want to whip me. It's trying its best to, I'll tell you. Still trying. Alright, so it's actually the next day from the last day I was out here working, which was yesterday. And the temperature is a lot different. This is March in North Carolina. It was between 85 and 90 degrees yesterday, which I wasn't out here yesterday, it was the day before yesterday, Thursday when I was out here, it's Saturday morning. And it's about 45 degrees. So big difference, but that's North Carolina. I've got all of the fence wire around the sides. I got to trim it up a little bit, but I got to put a piece across the top, and that's what I'm going to do now. See, this stuff's not a lot of fun when you're by yourself. Alright, I'm going to trim the wire off of this, down this side, and then I'm going to see if I can get this thing off the trailer. Because I've made it way heavier probably than it needs to be, and I might have to get a bulldozer to get the thing off. I'm going to try to get it off before I put any more weight on it. Actually easier than I thought it would be. Alright, let's get back to work. Alright, I ripped this 2x2. I'm going to put it across here so I can put my OSB here. And I'm going to put OSB on this side. I'm going to put a window right there. I'm going to hinge it where I can open it up. I can get in there. That way if I need to get in there. I don't know why I would need to get in there. But if I need to get in there, I can get in there. And I've got to figure out a roost in here somehow. So that's what's next. Alright, so I've got the sides on it. All the way around. Now I got to put the metal on the top and put the window in, build the door for the front, and I'll be ready to put those things in there. Got the metal on. I've got about 2 inches all the way around. And instead of lapping this metal over here where it goes, I just covered another bay right here pretty much with it. That way I don't have to cut it. And it's 8 foot long, so it'll cover actually a good portion of the other part. That way I can put the feed down there, not worry about getting wet. All right, got the metal screwed on. Put this window in and build the door down there and a ramp. You gotta get a ramp. And then inside I'll build a roost in there. And won't be long, we'll be putting them in here. All right, I can't wait. So I'm gonna put them in here. I gotta go rip some wood to make this door work anyway. We'll see how they like it. Give these ducks a bath. Well, I guess I didn't need a block in there. They don't know what to think so far. All right, it's time to make the door. I got my lumber cut here. So let me get to putting this together. I want to see if it fits in there just like it is, if I need to square it up or whatever. So I'm going to take this off. Maybe they'll stay down there. I think it'll be all right like it is. I got the door built. It's got the chicken wire at the bottom plus the dog wire all the way up with a hasp up on the top. And a stop right here to keep it from going all the way through. Then I got the window in over here. Button on this side, latch on this side. Now chicken's in there. Turned the light on last night again at 30 degrees. Covered this door where they couldn't get out, but I got to get the roost built. It'll be done.